Hey there, have you ever heard about the time California's largest dam nearly caused a massive catastrophe? Grab your seat because you're about to dive deep into the chilling story of the Oroville Dam disaster. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next intriguing tales. February 12, 2017. The biggest dam in the US was close to breaking. Everyone was told to quickly leave the cities below. People rushed in their cars, trying to escape the possible flood. For many, it was the scariest time of their lives. However, the story started back in May 1957. In the 1950s, there were a lot of floods in America. The big flood in 1951 hurt many and cost a lot of money. Another big flood happened in Missouri the next year, and other states faced the same problem. In 1955 and 1956, floods caused a lot of deaths in Connecticut and California. So the government made a new law in 1957 to try and control these floods better. They started many projects, and one of them was building the Oroville Dam in California. They began building it quickly, but it was not an easy task. In December 1964, the Oroville Dam was half built. Workers were excited about the upcoming Christmas break. However, before they could rest, heavy rain began to fall. It wasn't just a sprinkle, but intense, pouring rain. Some areas in California received a year's amount of rain in just a few days. There were mudslides and rivers overflowed. People named this the 1,000-year flood because they believed such a downpour wouldn't happen again for a very long time. The water behind the partially built Oroville Dam started to rise quickly. It seemed like the water might overflow, flood the construction site, and enter the Central Valley. The workers couldn't do anything to prevent it. Fortunately, the rain stopped just in time, preventing a huge catastrophe. In October 1965, a big accident happened at the dam site. Trains that carried building materials had been working for years. But in 1966, 2 of these trains crashed inside a tunnel. 4 workers died because of this. The crash caused a lot of fuel to catch fire, and the flames came out of the tunnel. Nearby trees also caught fire, and a big forest fire started. There was so much smoke that people could see it from far away. This train crash wasn't the only sad event during the dam building. Over 10 years, more than 30 workers lost their lives while working there. When the Oroville Dam was finished in May 1967, everyone celebrated. It became America's tallest dam, even higher than the famous Hoover Dam. It was also the tallest structure in California at that time. This dam could store a lot of water to help with floods in winter and droughts in summer. It also made electricity. But was it safe? Dams can be risky. If they overflow, they can flood areas and even break. This happened in China when 2 dams broke, killing over 100,000 people. To avoid this, dams have spillways. The Oroville Dam had one too. Spillways are like safety drains. If the water gets too high, it goes down these channels instead of spilling over the dam's sides. The Oroville Dam had 2 safety channels called spillways. The main one was long with big gates at the top. When opened, it released water very fast, enough to fill many swimming pools in a minute. If that wasn't enough, there was a backup spillway. It was shorter than the main dam wall. If water got too high, it would flow over the spillway and down the hill into the river. This would lower the water level and keep the dam safe. This was the idea. For many years, the backup spillway wasn't used. Every year, the main spillway managed the rainwater. But in 2017, California had its rainiest winter in 100 years. For the first time, the Oroville Dam's backup spillway was used and problems began. On February 7th, days before a big event, the crisis began on a Tuesday. The main spillway had been working well for a while, even with the heavy rain. Then, dam workers saw something strange in the water flow. It looked like something was blocking it. They stopped the water to check. To their surprise, they found a big hole in the spillway. They realized that using the spillway again could cause more damage. 3 days before the evacuation, the reservoir's water level was getting too high because the main spillway was closed. The workers had to decide, either open the main spillway and risk making the hole bigger, or let the water go down the backup spillway. The backup spillway was not used before, and over the years, trees grew and power lines were placed on its path. They decided to use the main spillway, but at a slower rate, hoping it would help without causing more damage. A person said they didn't think they'd need the backup spillway. However, he was mistaken. One day before the evacuation, the main spillway wasn't releasing water quickly enough, so the reservoir's water level kept rising. Soon it would overflow to the backup spillway for the first time. Workers quickly removed trees and power lines from its path. When the water finally flowed over the backup spillway, it rushed down the hill. But soon, workers saw a big problem. Years ago, a study said the hill was strong and wouldn't be damaged by water. But they were wrong. In 2017, when water ran down the hill, it started taking away mud and rocks. The whole hill began to break apart, and suddenly the dam itself could fall apart. The day of the evacuation. If the hill broke down, the dam could release a huge amount of water that would flood the valley. The state told over 100,000 people to leave quickly. Officials said the dam might break very soon. People were scared and rushed to leave, causing traffic jams and emptying gas stations. Back at the dam, water kept flowing and damaging the hill. Workers opened the main spillway, even if it got more damaged, to lower the water level. Everyone was hoping the water would stop flowing over the backup spillway before the whole hill broke apart. Suddenly, at 9 p.m., the water stopped flowing. The workers must have felt relieved. The dam's spillways had worked, releasing a lot of water and bringing the reservoir back to a safe level. February 13th, the aftermath. When the hillside became dry, helicopters were used to drop sandbags and big stones on the damaged land. The next day, the dam was said to be safe. The water in the reservoir was managed, and everyone was told they could go back to their homes. However, the Central Valley had some harm. Mud and stones from the hillside went downstream, hurting an important fish area. They had to move about 9 million fish to another place downstream. But overall, the damage wasn't as bad as it could have been. A controversy emerged in the media. 10 years before, 3 environmental organizations had voiced their concerns to a federal agency about the Oroville Dam's emergency pathway. They believed that water running down the bare hill might wear away the rocks, putting the main dam at risk. These organizations suggested adding concrete to the hill to prevent erosion. However, because the fix would cost over $100 million, the agency didn't take action, and the dam remained unchanged. In 2013, dam workers saw a crack in the main water path, the same spot where a big hole appeared in 2017. Engineers fixed the crack, but no one really kept a close eye on it. 2 years later, during a safety check, the inspectors didn't closely look at that area. A report said they looked at the concrete from far away, possibly missing a clue that could have prevented the whole problem. In May 2017, the state's water department faced strong criticism. They didn't pay attention to many warning signs, risking many people's lives. One official said it was scary and stated, "This problem needs a solution." Many dams, not just the Oroville Dam, had overlooked warning signs. Typically, if a dam was over 50 years old, it was considered too old. A study in 2016, just before the Oroville issue, showed most of the US dams were older than this age. To prevent problems, these dams needed updates. After the Oroville incident, lots of money was spent on fixing and improving it by 2018. They totally rebuilt the main water path and added new tools to check for unsafe pressure. They also made the base under the emergency water path stronger. In 2020, a report said the dam was safe to use. The emergency water path hasn't been used since 2017, but if it's used in the future, the hill should stay intact. The updated main water path has been used a few times, and the last time was in March 2023 for a little water release. Luckily, no one died because of the Oroville Dam issue, but things could have been much worse. This situation taught us that dams can be risky, and we should always pay attention to safety warnings. Wow, what a story. It's essential to remember the lessons these incidents teach us. What are your thoughts on the Oroville Dam situation? Leave a comment below. If you're keen to explore more fascinating stories about structures and their challenges, make sure to check out our other videos. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe to stay updated. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next one.